Okay, so picture the biggest music star you can think of right now. Taylor Swift, Drake, whoever. Now, what if I told you the OG pop superstar lived like 200 years ago and his instrument of choice was a violin? Yeah, let's get into it. I know what you're probably thinking. Classical music, isn't that kind of slow? Maybe a little boring? Well, I want you to just forget all of that. Because the guy we are talking about today, Johann Strauss II, was an absolute rock star. For real. I mean, just think about what makes a pop star famous today. Do they write viral hits that get stuck in everyone's head? Check. Strauss did that. Do they tour the world playing for huge, sold-out crowds? Yep, he did that too. And what about fans? Fans that would just go absolutely crazy at their concerts. Oh, you better believe it. The similarities are just unreal. But here's the thing. He didn't just walk into fame. Like so many great stories, his starts with a little bit of rebellion. So get this. His dad, Johann Strauss I, was already a super famous composer. But instead of wanting his son to follow in his footsteps, he had a totally different plan. He looked at his kid and said, "You are going to get a safe, respectable job as a banker." Can you imagine that pressure? But yeah, our guy Johann II was not having any of that. He had music just flowing through him, and he was not about to spend his life counting money for somebody else. He knew exactly what he was passionate about, and he was ready to fight for it. And this meant he literally had to do it all in secret. He was taking violin lessons, studying how to write music, all behind his dad's back. And he wasn't just trying to be a copy of his father either. Nope. He was on a mission to create a sound that was completely his own, something totally new and exciting. So what was this unique sound that was going to make him a superstar? Well, it was all about one thing: making music that made people want to get up and dance. He became the absolute king of something called the Viennese waltz. Now, the best way to think about this is like the biggest TikTok dance challenge of the 1800s. Seriously, it was fast, it was super energetic, you'd spin around with a partner, and it took over every single ballroom in Vienna. It was the thing to do. So what was his secret sauce? Well, for one, he wrote these sweeping melodies that were total earworms, the kind that get stuck in your head for days. And then he backed them up with these lively, energetic rhythms that made it literally impossible to stand still. His music was basically the ultimate soundtrack for any party. And if he had that one massive #1 hit that everybody knows, it's got to be The Blue Danube. I can almost guarantee you've heard this song before, probably in a movie or a TV show. It's just one of those timeless pieces of music that basically became the theme song for the entire city of Vienna. An absolute classic. So he's got the viral hits, he's got a growing reputation. It was time to take this show on the road. And this is where he goes from being a local hero to a full-blown global phenomenon. And when I say he toured, I mean he went everywhere. Starting from his home in Vienna, he traveled to all the biggest cultural hotspots in the world. We're talking Paris, London, even all the way out to St. Petersburg in Russia. The guy was a true international superstar. And everywhere he went, it was the exact same story. Sold-out concerts and crowds that just went wild for him. He started what they actually called the waltz craze, and it spread across the entire continent. He wasn't just a musician anymore, he was a cultural icon. He was the face of Viennese music for the rest of the world. So, after all the hit songs and the world tours, what did he leave behind? I mean, why are we still talking about this guy almost 200 years later? Well, you can kind of think of his legacy in levels, almost like in a video game. Level 1, he takes the waltz and makes it a global sensation. Level 2, he becomes a living symbol for his hometown Vienna. Level 3, he even conquers the theater world, writing these famous musical comedies called operettas, which were kind of like the blockbuster movies at their time. And for the final boss level, he inspired countless musicians for generations to come. So when you really put it all together, Johann Strauss II wasn't just writing party music. He was capturing the entire sound and feeling of an era. His music is like a time capsule of that golden age in Vienna. And his impact on music history, it's just massive. You can't deny it. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to chew on. Strauss's music has stuck around for centuries. So what about the music you're listening to right now? Which artists, which songs do you think people will still be listening to and calling a classic 200 years from now? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for hanging out with me.